Today, we are going to do a recap of the 2008 film called Sex Drive. Be aware there are spoilers found within this recapped review of the film. Ian Lafferty is an 18-year-old recent high school graduate. He has met a girl online called Miss Tasty. He has portrayed himself as a buff and cool football player, but in reality, he is an unassuming virgin. Miss Tasty lives in Knoxville, while he lives in Brookfield, Illinois. Ian has two brothers, a younger brother, while the other, named Rex, is his homophobic muscle car driving older brother. Rex treats Ian poorly, as he thinks he might be gay. Rex's pride and joy is his orange Pontiac GTO Judge. Ian works at a Mexican donut shop in the local shopping mall. Part of his job is dressing up in the shop's mascot costume to hand out coupons. After someone stops him to ask for directions, Ian wonders why everyone began laughing after. It did not take long before Ian unknowingly makes someone mad. After being punched, Ian falls back downstairs and slides to a stop where he is lifted back up by two of his friends. Ian's two best friends are Felicia and Lance. Miss Tasty offers Ian a proposition. If he drives out to Knoxville to visit her, she will make sure it's worth his while. At the same time, Rex has decided to go motorbiking with his dad for a few days. Lance, having now seen Miss Tasty, suggests Ian should secretly borrow Rex's car and head to Knoxville to lose his virginity. As Rex leaves, Ian shows Lance he was able to steal Rex's keys. Ian, Lance, and Felicia all head to Knoxville together, although Felicia has been told they are visiting Ian's sick grandmother, rather than Miss Tasty. On the way to Knoxville, the judge breaks down as the radiator blows. Felicia suggests they pee into the radiator to help get it fixed. They all take turns peeing into it, including Felicia, who happened to experience a little bad timing. As Felicia's suggestion failed to fix the car, they had to wait for someone to help them. Lance chuckles as a carriage-riding Amish farmer offers to help. After the farmer details the car's engine specifications, Lance accepts his offer. With the GTO now being towed behind the wagon, the farmer explains to Lance the concept of rumspringa. This is where Amish teens get to experiment with modern life, usually by partying. As Ian and Felicia were down the road looking for help, they stop to pick them up. After they arrive at the Amish community, a group of farmers begin to work on the GTO. They suggest, while they wait, to go next door and experience rumspringa, as a party was just beginning to start. As they head over to the barn, they are stunned to see Fall Out Boy getting off the bus. Rumspringa turns into an amazing concert and party, with fun and antics not expectant from an Amish community. During the party, Lance sees Mary and experiences love at first sight. At the same time, Rex has a nightmare that Ian is out driving and partying with his GTO. Waking, he double-checks to ensure he has the keys, but finds them gone. The next morning they wake, and Lance discovers he cannot see Mary anymore as rumspringa is over for her. In contrast, Ian is both delighted and relieved to see his brother's GTO back together and up and running. Meanwhile, back in Illinois, Rex arrives back home and confirms that his car is in fact gone, and is not pleased, as his anger puts him into a raging meltdown. Now, back on the road, Ian pulls into a carnival in order to find a washroom. While Felicia looks for food, Ian and Lance engage in a heart-to-heart conversation where Lance is visibly still distraught over Mary. When Ian suggests that Felicia might be interested in him, Lance acknowledges this, but hesitates because he believes Ian has feelings for her. Ian denies any romantic interest. Lance warns Ian against having a sexual relationship with a friend. He states all of his previous exploits shared one thing in common: none were his friends. At the carnival, Ian surprises everyone by expertly climbing a rigged rope ladder and winning a giant lollipop. His success attracts attention from Sandy, who asks him about his technique. Ian's instructions did not help Mandy much as she still falls over. As a consolation prize, Ian offers the lollipop to Sandy, who, in return, invites him to her dance performance next door. Ian, Lance, and Felicia all attend the show, where Ian is unexpectedly pulled onto the stage, not knowing it is to make an abstinence pledge before everyone. But first, they had to listen to a pregnant teenager's own abstinence pledge. Unfortunately, as Ian listened, he could not help but notice all the dance girls changing on the other side of the stage, which caused an erection. Both Lance and Felicia could not stop laughing, as Ian had to make his pledge with an erection. Afterwards, an embarrassed Ian tells Sandy to leave him alone. Sandy, now angered, retaliates by throwing the lollipop at him, which accidentally breaks Felicia's front tooth. Now at the dental office, Felicia admits she has feelings for Ian. Much to Lance's dismay, this makes Ian reconsider the idea in driving to seeing Miss Tasty. Unfortunately, as Ian forgot his phone, Felicia picked it up and was then able to read all of Miss Tasty's texts. Their journey is further disrupted when Ian accidentally hits an endangered species with the car. His attempts to euthanize the suffering animal lands him and Lance in jail, with Felicia detained separately. During their time in lockup, Ian and Lance reflect on their misadventures, while Felicia gets life advice about friends and relationships from fellow inmates. Eventually, they are surprisingly bailed out by Mary. Despite the day's chaos, Ian decides to continue his journey to meet Miss Tasty, motivated by a mix of pressure and the desire to lose his virginity. With their relationships and self-perceptions tested, everyone sets out once more, each grappling with the consequences of the last few days. Now at Harlan's Fantasy Inn, Ian gets ready to meet Miss Tasty. Felicia advises Ian not to lose his virginity just for sex. Ian feels pressured as the only virgin among his friends. Felicia offers herself to Ian as a safer option, suggesting sex as friends. Ian refuses, not wanting pity sex or to be just a friend to Felicia. Ian confronts Felicia, asking if she has romantic feelings for him. Unable to respond, Felicia storms out and slams the door. As Ian heads out the door to meet Miss Tasty, he is greeted at the door by a very pissed-off Rex. He demands Ian pack up his things and go home, dismissing Ian's plans with Miss Tasty. Ian, in a panic, claims he's having feelings and curiosities about men. Rex reacts with disbelief and anger, refusing to accept that his brother might be gay. Rex decides to let Ian use his car, giving him 1 hour on the condition of no anal sex. Ian quickly bolts to meet Miss Tasty. As Ian arrives at the meeting place, he only sees a creepy old man. Suddenly, Miss Tasty emerges, surprising Ian with her southern accent and appearance. Ian awkwardly explains why his appearance is slightly different from his online pictures, blaming it on an illness and a bad haircut. Miss Tasty ignores this and begins flirting with Ian, suggesting a car ride. Unbeknownst to Ian, Felicia is hiding in the back seat as Miss Tasty makes her moves on him. Ian and Miss Tasty find a secluded spot where Miss Tasty removes her top. With Felicia watching, Miss Tasty begins to undress Ian. Ian nervously hesitates, revealing his potential feelings for another girl. Felicia hears this and is now aware of Ian's true feelings for her. Miss Tasty begins laughing and tells Ian to shut up, as a large man sneaks up and orders Ian to strip at gunpoint. As Miss Tasty leaves, she mocks Ian by thanking him for the 69 judge and wishing him luck with Felicia. The car speeds away, where at the last second, Ian sees Felicia hiding in the back seat. Miss Tasty, now flirting with Bobby Joe, reveals they have one more car to steal. Felicia, in the back seat, sends frantic texts to Lance for help. Unfortunately, Lance misses all of her texts, as he's preoccupied with Mary and marveling in his unexpected situation. As Miss Tasty seduces her next victim, a pickup truck smashes into the GTO. The driver is an irate boyfriend of one of Lance's previous escapades. After Rex sees the crash, he goes after Bobby Joe, who knocks him down. Lance heads out to see what is going on, only to see the irate boyfriend. Miss Tasty calls for Bobby Joe as she sees Felicia crawling out of the back. Suddenly, Ian shows up and disarms Bobby Joe in his donut work costume. Bobby Joe does not think Ian has the balls to shoot him. Unfortunately, Ian proves him wrong by shooting him in the leg and pins him to the ground. A catfight breaks out between Felicia and Miss Tasty, which ends with the arrival of the police. With Miss Tasty and Bobby Joe now in custody, both Felicia and Ian come to the realization they should be more than friends. Later on, back at the Amish farm, Rex gets his GTO repaired. Impressed with Ian's newfound confidence, Rex lets him drive the GTO back home with Felicia. Meanwhile, Lance decides to stay with Mary and check out Amish life, while letting Ian know he thinks Ian made a great decision in going out with Felicia. A few months later, during Thanksgiving, Rex makes an announcement that he is gay. Although his father did not take the news well at first, he came around and accepted it by Christmas time. And by New Year's Eve, both Ian and Felicia finally managed to visit his grandma.